I went to the DMV to renew my driver's license. They told me my name belongs to a child who went missing in 1995. The clerk, a woman with tired eyes and a bored expression, looked at her screen, then back at me. She did it 3 times. Then she called over her supervisor. They whispered. I was led into a small, windowless office. The supervisor sat down across from me and told me there was a problem with my file. He said that according to a national database, my name, my date of birth, and my social security number were all flagged. They belonged to a 6-year-old boy named Michael Carter who vanished from a playground in Ohio in 1995. He looked at me expecting an explanation. I didn't have one. My name is Michael Carter. I was born on that day, but I'd never even been to Ohio. The first crack in the foundation of my life was my parents' reaction. When I got home and told them, I expected shock, confusion, maybe even a sad story about a bureaucratic mix-up. Instead, I got anger, pure defensive fury. My father told me it was a ridiculous error and that I was forbidden from looking into it further. My mother just started crying, but not with sadness. It was the frantic, terrified crying of someone who had just been caught. They told me to forget about it, that they would hire a lawyer to sort it out. Their reaction wasn't just strange, it was incriminating. The second clue was the box in the attic. There was a single, sealed box that I was never, ever allowed to touch. As a kid, I was told it was full of my dad's old, boring tax documents. After the fight, I went up there and pried it open with a crowbar. It wasn't full of tax papers. It was a time capsule. Inside was a child's life neatly packed away, a small worn teddy bear, a pair of red sneakers, a first grade report card from a school in Ohio, and at the very bottom, a handful of photographs. It was a little boy with my eyes, my smile, but he wasn't me. He was playing on a swing set. In the background, a woman who was not my mother was watching him. The final piece was a memory, a string. Recurring dream I'd had my entire life. In the dream, I'm running through a field of tall grass. I can hear a woman calling a name, but it's not my name. And I can hear a man's voice, angry, shouting. I always wake up just as I trip and fall. I told my mom about the dream once when I was little. She went completely pale and told me to never, ever speak of it again. I took the box down from the attic and placed it on the kitchen table in front of my parents. I didn't have to say anything. The silence was deafening. And then, the story came out. A story of 2 people who couldn't have a child. A story of a trip to Ohio to visit family. A trip that was never spoken of again. A story of a day at a park where they saw a little boy playing all alone. A boy whose parents were having a vicious, screaming fight nearby. In a moment of what my mother called desperate, broken madness, they took him. They drove for 2 days without stopping, brought him back to their home in California, and raised him as their own. They didn't kidnap Michael Carter. They saved him, they said. They gave him a life away from the fighting, away from the chaos. I just sat there, looking at the photos of the little boy whose life I had been living. I was the child who went missing. My parents were my parents. They were my abductors. They loved me, I had no doubt about that. But their love was built on a crime, a lie so profound it had erased another human being. My entire life, my memory, none of it was mine. It belonged to a boy who vanished in 1995. I was standing in his shoes. And in that quiet kitchen, the world I knew ceased to exist, and I had no idea who was left in its place.